Hi, this is Mitch Ginsberg. I'm the CEO and founder of CommLoan. Over the last 10 years, we have built groundbreaking technology, which is revolutionizing the way commercial real estate loans are originated. We have over 760 lenders in our database, and the technology matches your borrower with the perfect lender that best fits their needs. Let's take a look at how the technology works. We go ahead and create a landing page for each originator. It has their bio, it has a headshot, and any borrower that comes to this particular loan originator's landing page would go ahead and fill in this very brief input form. They'd select the property type that they're looking to finance, what is the purpose of the loan, the value of the property, the desired loan to value. They'd hit continue, fill in their name, their email, and their phone number, and hit get a quote. That loan would then land up in the loan originator's pipeline. This is the loan originator's portal. They can add a new loan out of this portal, obviously manage their pipeline. If they want to mentor additional loan originators, they'll be able to manage that mentor relationship. They can manage their revenue share group, referral partners, profiles, and obviously sign out. What is a loan quote? A loan quote is where there isn't necessarily a buyer or a sponsor for a particular property, but a commercial loan agent is requesting a loan quote to show some loan options that will appear in an offering memorandum of a property that they're currently listing. Traditionally, it takes hours to generate a loan quote. Using our technology, a loan quote can be generated in less than 10 minutes, which is a phenomenal marketing tool, enabling loan originators to send out loan quotes for listings and thereby generate leads. Any lead that comes in through the system and through the landing page would appear in this particular bucket, as well as any new loans that are added by the originator themselves will appear in the lead bucket. This is the pre-qual issue. This is where actually loan options are issued to the borrower. They would appear in this bucket. Once the borrower has committed to work with that particular loan originator and has signed a broker agreement, then the loan will be moved into processing, where it's processed, packaged, and sent off to lenders, canceled, and funded loans. Well, let's take a look at the functionality of running a loan through the system. So this is what the input form looks like. Some of this initial information will be captured as the originator gets the lead from the borrower, and it was already filled in on the get a quote form, but we capture the borrower's name, their current home address. And the reason we capture their home address is a lot of lenders will follow a particular borrower out of state. So if the borrower resides in a particular state, but is buying a property in another state, that lender will follow that borrower to the other state. So it really just broadens the lending footprint. This is the name of the borrowing entity, which is normally a single purpose LLC. You then have your property category, all the different property types, and then you have all the subcategories so that the lender, we can hone in on exactly the property type that that particular lender will lend on. Is it occupied or non-owned occupied? The NOI on the particular property. Then the loan purpose. Is it a purchase, refi, construction, rehab? So for example, if it was a refinance, we would capture how long they owned the property, what is the current value, what was the purchase price, and what was the cost of improvements. The reason we do that is certain lenders will base their loan to value on the cost approach for, say, the first year or 2 years. Other lenders may work off the value immediately. So let's go back to a purchase. This is the purchase price, $10 million. Knowing that this is a multifamily and the borrower wants a relatively high loan to value, we're going to select banks, credit unions, Fannie, Freddie. You could select all lenders or any other lender types. It's just you want to actually limit the number of options you're getting, because it could become a little overwhelming in sorting through all the options. You choose your loan to value. In this case, let's look at a 75% loan to value. Estimated time to close 12 weeks. Once again, if a borrower needs to close in 8 weeks, we don't want to select a lender that's going to take 12 weeks to close. In this case, we do have the time. We then can go ahead and choose either a particular loan product, or in this case, let's choose minimums. I want a minimum 5-year fixed. I want a minimum 5-year maturity and at least a 20-year amortization. These are all pull downs, and you could select whatever you want. I'm going to select a recourse loan so we can show you the functionality of what we capture for the guarantor. Their citizenship. Not every lender will lend to non-US citizenships. Their credit score. At this stage, this is a verbal credit score. Their total global income and their global debt to be able to calculate accurately the global debt coverage ratio, their net worth, their liquidity, and have they declared bankruptcy in the last 7 years, or have they had property foreclosed? If so, when? So once again, we'll meet the respective lender's requirements. At this point, we go ahead and run the pricing engine, and the system is now matching that borrower's needs to the 250,000 loan records, which represent the 760 plus lenders. In this case, we came up with 156 results. We could then sort those results either according to rate, points, debt service coverage ratio, fees, time to close, or prepayment penalty. You can go 4 levels deep as far as that sort. So you go through the different options as you're discussing it with the borrower. If you want to read a little bit more about the narrative with regards to that particular lender, you can just get that information as well. You can choose up to 12 lenders initially that you'd like to get your package out to. And as you're going through this process with the borrower, you make your selections. I've gone ahead and selected the top 6 at this point, which will appear on the pre-qualification certificate. I click View Pre-Qualification Certificate, and this is what the borrower is going to ultimately see. You got your issue date, your loan number, the borrower's name, the guarantor's name. As you can see, we only list the loan number of the lender number because until the borrower signs a broker agreement, we don't want to disclose who the lenders are. It tells the lender type. Is it recourse or non-recourse? The loan amount. As you can see, we can mix and match. So you're not locked into one set of parameters. You can select a couple lenders at one particular set of lending parameters, then go back, rerun your quote with different parameters and select those lenders. So you could see we got some at 75 and some at 80 as well. You got your loan program, today's rate, monthly payment, total points. That includes the points you've selected below, lender fees, time to close, and prepayment penalty. So over here, you would select the points that you want to charge on the transaction. If you're happy with that, you hit I agree and hit generate pre-qualification certificate. And then that certificate will go ahead and appear in the borrower portal, which we'll go through in a few moments. So going back to the pipeline, this is your pre-qual bucket, and this is your in-processing bucket. Once the borrower signs their broker agreement and the loan's in the processing bucket, that's where you're going to be able to go ahead, gather your documentation, and build your package. So let's look at a transaction in the processing bucket. So this is the application, which you will have seen already. This was filled in the lead stage in order to generate the pre-qualification certificate. This is once the borrower has signed their broker agreement, you go ahead and select the items, the checklist items that you're going to need the borrower to provide in order to build your package. These are you just click the respective box over here, and those items will appear in the borrower portal, and you have the ability of creating custom items as well for your needs list. In addition, over here, you can build a timeline going back from your close of escrow when various key events have to take place. When you need to receive your appraisal, when your lender selected and deposit made would need to happen in order to meet that close date, the financing request package completed and submitted to lenders, and by this is the date that you need to get all the checklist items from the respective borrower. Over here is where you go ahead and start building your package. So you write your loan narrative, which will appear in your package. You work out your cash flow analysis, which will ultimately give you your debt service coverage ratios. And these are various tombstones. You can check which of these tombstones you're going to want to appear in your package. And these are all various data points that are going to appear in your package. Over here are the lenders you had selected for the package to go to. As it moves through the various stages, so when you send off the package, it'll appear in orange. It'll appear in this color in the borrow portal as well. When the lender is reviewing it, automatically it'll turn to yellow. And when the lender quotes on the loan, automatically it'll turn to green once they've quoted on the loan. This is where the package will be built as far as all the documentation that comes in. This is your closing information, which you capture the escrow officer, you capture the lender information, etc., in order to be able to properly manage the closing. So this should give you a really good overview as far as how you go ahead and process the loan. And this is how you go ahead and build your package. So the system will automatically recognize the address of the respective property and pick the cityscape for that particular city. As you can see, it captures the purchase price above. And you've got your table of contents. You would pull in an image of the property to put into the spot on your table of contents. Your loan summary would automatically populate that you've put already in the processing section. This is all data that would populate. You pull in another image. Over here, you've got your cash flow analysis you did and your loan summary items that you selected to go into your package. This is an integration with Google Maps so that the lender will be able to go click on the property, walk around the property, take a look at the street scene, etc., etc. Over here are more images you'd pull in, and this is market data that we've built tables which would automatically be able to populate based on where the property is located, the type of property, the size of the deal, etc. So this is how you would go ahead and build your package in the system. So going back to the pipeline and going back to the lender portal, this would be your canceled loans and funded loans. Going back to the menu on the side here, this is your mentorship program. So if you're a seasoned loan originator and want to mentor other originators, you would click on their originator's name, you'd have their details, but more importantly, you could go ahead and get into their pipeline and work with them as far as managing their pipeline. Over here is your revenue share portal. This is where you manage any members that you have attracted to your team and are able to see potential future income, what was last paid and what's expected to get paid next. Plus, you can click on the respective team and see exactly who's in your team, what level they're at. And if you click on any one team member, you could get more data on that particular team member. This is referral management. If you build a big referral relationship where we build a customized landing page for that referral partner, you can manage that relationship. Here's where you can update your profile and sign out. So what I'd like to go ahead now and do is show you what the borrower portal looks like and the functionality from the borrower's perspective. So over here, I've got multiple loans, obviously, because I want to show you loans at different stages. This is when the pre-qualification certificate comes through for the borrower to review. So the way the basic functionality works, when you generate the pre-qualification certificate, the borrower is going to get an email saying, congratulations, you've been pre-qualified. Please click on the link below. The borrower will then be prompted to set up their password, which will then give them access to their portal. They should be able to conduct virtually the entire transaction until they are connected with their final lender through their portal. So here's the pre-qualification certificate that was generated. If the borrower is happy with it and they love it, they can go ahead and sign their broker agreement right here in the portal. And that'll prompt you to go ahead and move on and generate the needs list. As you can see, here's your photograph, and as well as the contact information for the originator. So moving on, assuming the borrower has signed their broker agreement and now you've done your needs list and requested various documentation, the needs list will appear in the borrower portal, as well as the timeline that you built. And in order for the borrower to go ahead and upload any documentation, they literally would click on this, drag and drop, or upload it from a file, and that will go ahead and appear in your portal as the loan originator. Once the package is built and sent off to the respective lenders, the terms will come in. And this is what it'll appear like both in the loan originator and borrower portal. And this will enable the originator to work with the borrower, ultimately narrowing down the top one or two lenders. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of going back and forth, fine-tuning the terms with the lender until a lender is selected, the term sheet is signed, third parties are paid for, and then the lender is connected directly with the borrower. The loan originator will still stay very much in the loop on the transaction all the way through to closing. And as the transaction moves through the various milestones, the loan originator will move it to the next milestone. So the borrower is going to be able to track the status of the loan, as well as if any additional documentation needs to be uploaded, the loan originator will be able to help in facilitating and closing and ensuring a smooth closing. That gives you the basic functionality of the borrower portal. Let me go ahead and now show you the functionality of the lender portal and effectively how the lender will interact with the platform. So this is the lender portal. The lender has active quotes. These are loans that they still need to quote. Pending borrower decision. These are loans that they have quoted but are waiting for the borrower decision. Loans in processing. These are deals that they have won and they're busy working. Lost opportunities. These are loans that they have lost. We do give them the winning bid so they understand what terms ultimately won the loan. Funded loans. This is a lender rating system where we will where we do rate the lenders based on their performance and how quickly they respond and are able to quote the loan and how responsive they are in working with the respective loan originator. So let me go ahead and just show you the basic functionality on one transaction. The lender essentially gets the package once you hit the submit button. If you're sending it out to 6 lenders or you're sending it out to 12 lenders, they get the package simultaneously. This is what the package looks like. And once again, it has the loan originator's headshot with their contact information. This is a basic summary on the transaction. This is the terms that appeared in our system, so they know what the system has, and then they're going to quote it. If there's a substantial difference, more than a 50 basis points variance in rate, it'll automatically be flagged by our lender service department, and they will try and understand why the pricing was off from what the lender had in the system. These are the photographs that were uploaded that the lender can view. This is the loan summary that was created. These are some of the key tombstones with regards to that respective loan. Once again, this is the Google Maps integration enabling the lender to take a tour of the property and the neighborhood. This is all the documentation that is submitted to the lender. They have the ability of downloading the whole package. This is the financing overdue, which is the package that was built in our platform. So this should give you a really good overview as far as the lender functionality. The lenders quote their loans through the portal. They receive a lot of their documentation through their portal. So it really creates a streamlined process. The borrower works through a portal, the loan originator works through the portal, and the lender works through the portal, creating a self-contained ecosystem. This not only creates enormous efficiencies, but really creates a higher level of security than emailing documents back and forth, which certainly isn't very secure.